Hi everyone, happy holidays. I hope you had a really good Christmas if that is what you celebrate, and I hope you've had a really good and safe New Year so far. You're probably seeing a common theme with this YouTube channel right now, and that is from this time last year I was uploading diligently every fortnight, and now it's like you don't really hear a peep from me for like a month. So in the middle of last year, God, that's weird to say, of course I went through a lot of stuff with my mental health, and that was part of the reason why I wasn't uploading, just because I just couldn't find it within myself. And then at the end of last year, so around November, you wouldn't have heard anything from me, and that was because I was actually working on a docuseries for my mother-in-law. Now my mother-in-law, Jules, she runs a landscaping company called JM Landscapes, and she had entered the New Zealand Flower and Garden show at the end of last year. So she had put up a Zen Garden display called Jules Zen Garden, and I filmed the process from the pre-construction right to the end. So it's a 6-part docuseries, and I'll link that down below so you can go and check it out. The garden that she had made took out top in construction, top in show. People got the People's Choice Award and won gold, so it's a very special garden. So you're probably wanting me to delve right into this video because you don't want to hear me blabbering on too much. So if you're new here, my name is Lex Morningstar, and this YouTube channel is about one of the 16 personality types, INFP, and this video is the misconceptions of being INFP, or the misconceptions. I don't know, I'll name it afterwards. So the first misconception is that INFPs are illogical and over-emotional. My biggest annoyance with this misconception is that people who kind of take the MBTI way too seriously will look at the INFP and look at the fact that INFPs lead by the introverted feelings, so they're very value-driven kinds of people. So they look at the INFP and see that and think, well, the INFP does not use logic and reason to lead their lives, and that is the biggest crock of ever. Yes, of course, the INFP has to work a little bit harder at exercising their introverted sensing and extroverted thinking. However, to say that the INFP leads 100% by emotion and not logic is just a very ignorant statement. IQ and EQ is not synonymous with a person's personality. I think the difference, however, with the INFP is, as I said, we lead by our introverted feeling, which is a judgment-based cognitive function. So we're the kind of people who can get quite passionate about causes, and I believe this is where the misconception comes in. Now the thing is, with the INFP being passionate about causes, is that we're so different from each other that we are passionate about different things. So for example, you could be an INFP who is also a scientist who is passionate about finding the cure for cancer. Would I call that illogical? Absolutely not. I call that absolutely passionate and driven toward the cause that that INFP believes in their heart. As cheesy as that sounds, that is the process of introverted feeling, and of course it's up to that INFP whether they are diligent enough to work on their bottom two functions. And if they can, then it's a recipe for success. Just because we're INFPs, it doesn't mean we're all the same. We're all very different people. And I think being over emotional is to do with who that person is, not the MBTI type, but who that person is. Now, of course, the INFP is much more prone to criticism, and many INFPs have perfectionist tendencies. So if they feel like they're failing at something or making an embarrassment out of themselves, it can be harder for that INFP to kind of wrap their heads around the situation and think logically in terms of that. I'm pretty over emotional sometimes though, but that has nothing to do with me being an INFP. That's just to do with me. I'm a little bit of this and a little bit of that. The next misconception is that all INFPs are artistic. Now, throughout my videos that I've uploaded, when I've talked about INFPs being artistic, like for instance J.R.R. Tolkien being a very creative individual who wrote Lord of the Rings, I would get a few people saying, oh, well, you know, I'm an INFP, but I am not artistic in the slightest. And I think this is a very important fact to bring up. No, not all INFPs are artistic, and that is absolutely okay. If you type in Google careers for the INFP, a lot of what will come up would be things such as writer or journalist or fine artist or actor or director, things like that. Things that use a lot of creativity. And of course, not all INFPs are gonna go for those things, and that's absolutely fine. I think there are many INFPs who have really good leadership skills, which of course often get overlooked because you don't see INFPs in a leadership role very much. However, it all comes back to that individual's introverted feeling. Does this individual value a certain thing so much that they're going to lead that cause? Like for instance, if there's like a homeless epidemic, will this INFP lead a cause to help the homeless? And I think as someone looking from the outside in, seeing an INFP and kind of assuming that they're artistic will often forget that it's not so much that the INFP has artistic abilities, but it's that INFP who has these intense core values and they can get very passionate about a certain subject. And whether that be something artistic or something that they can lead, it doesn't really matter. It's just so long as what that INFP is passionate about. I'm passionate about filming, and I spent all of November filming this whole docuseries, and I got right to the end with it, and it was hard work. I was up until 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night. I got 2 kids. You know, as soon as they're at school and daycare, that would be me. I would be working on this docuseries. The house turned to I neglected the dishes and the washing and all that stuff, all the mundane things that of course we INFPs can't really be bothered with. INFPs are directionless. Now, I think the misconception here is the fact that the INFP, of course, will need to work on their introverted sensing and extroverted thinking in order to complete tasks. And with many INFPs, these two functions can be a little bit lacking, and therefore the INFP might not finish tasks. It takes a little bit for the INFP to build up those bottom 2 functions, but when they do build them up, the INFP can be an absolute unstoppable force. I have had many occasions where I have felt directionless, where I felt like I've blown in the wind, felt like I didn't know what to do with my life, and there's been many moments where I've changed my mind. Like if I'm interested in something and then I'll change my mind, and it can be quite frustrating. But of course this is in line with what I value as an INFP. If I value filmmaking, I'm going to put 100% effort into that and nail it. But you know, when it comes to washing the dishes, that's going to be the last thing I put effort into, because I don't really value it so much. I mean, obviously I value having, you know, clean plates to eat off, and value my children having clean plates to eat off, but I don't worry about it so much. And I feel that this is where people from the outside looking in would see that the INFP, for instance, a teenage INFP at high school, having many different classes, and the INFP might have a math class and an English class and a maybe social science, and that person from the outside could see, oh, that INFP is really bad at math, and they're flunking, they're not even putting effort into that subject, and you know, they're not going to get anywhere with that attitude. However, what that person doesn't see is this fizzling away of that INFP being really good at social science. And yeah, that INFP might change their mind as soon as they get to university. But the sheer fact is that once those two bottom functions, introverted sensing and extroverted thinking, are well worked on, that is when that INFP can really stick at something and show the world their success. I guess in a way, kind of like saying an ISTJ has no idea how to be emotionally connected with someone, or that the ISTJ has low emotional intelligence. It's absolutely not true. The ISTJ is very capable of feeling emotion and expressing emotion, but they do it in a different way. They do it in a way that maybe an NF might not relate to, but the ISTJ will still be able to express their appreciation and their love for others by doing what the ISTJ does. I'm a fistful of rock and a little pinch of fun. So for the last misconception, that is that the INFP is not outgoing. Even though the INFP may have to recharge by being alone, the INFP is an introvert, and that the INFP can be a little bit reserved before being able to open up their personalities completely to others. That certainly does not mean that the INFP doesn't have the capability of being outgoing and a go-getter. I have actually, over the past few years, wanted to socialize a little bit more. And after being a stay-at-home parent for quite a while, it's been just over 2 years with on and off dabbling with freelancing and everything, there have been many times where I have felt so alone and really bored and just feeling like I wanted to break free creatively and to express myself to the outside world. I think that's the best way that I can describe it. I want to be able to make a difference around me by using my people skills, by using my creativity, and that of course would be confused as more of an extroverted trait. But the biggest misconception though is that just because the INFP is an introvert means that they don't want to go out and socialize. Yes, we are more quiet individuals, but to say that we're shy couldn't be farther from the truth unless you are a shy kind of person, but that again is not synonymous with our personality type, excuse me. And I think why people get confused is they don't really understand what being an introvert is. Introversion just means that person recharges by being alone, but it absolutely does not mean that person is antisocial and doesn't want to put themselves out there. We are the kinds of people who, when we do connect with others, that connection can be so deep and authentic, and that bond could almost be an unbreakable one. We are fiercely loyal to the people we care about, and we absolutely value our friendships, we value connection with people, and that is why we are prone to loneliness, because we seek out friendships and relationships with people that would make a lasting impact on our lives, and in turn we want to do the same for them. So anyway, that concludes this video, and I hope you liked it. I hope you could relate to some of it, or if you're learning more about INFPs, I hope that you got something out of this video and you learned a little bit more. I hope to see you soon in a couple of weeks, and please excuse me for not uploading. I apologize once again. I value you guys, I value this channel, so you know, I want to keep doing it. My uploading schedule might not be as diligent as what it was last year, but I promise you from the bottom of my heart that I really do value connecting with you guys. So for now, I hope you have a really good day, night, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you all again next time. Bye!